So here's the kitchen. Cherry cabinets are probably out these days, but 10 years ago when we bought this home rather, I considered this a pretty swanky kitchen, again by my standards. I did make dinner for a neighbor today, so I try to clean as I go, but there are a few dishes sitting out, and we've been we're trying to keep the house staged, so there's a little bit of dishes out, but nice stainless steel appliances. They don't have the cabinet covers to make them look like they blend in with the rest of the cabinetry, but for me, the island is the star of the show. All of these drawers, these are like all, deep drawers right here, and everything rolls out. The wine fridge is so nice to have, just to keep sodas and stuff from taking space in the refrigerator. I am short, and so this microwave cubby is like a favorite of mine. And then like a rollout trash, and then this is like a pantry area, and again all the shelves roll out. And when I host, and I do like to host, everyone just stands in the kitchen, even, right? I think everybody says that. Everyone ends up in the kitchen just standing around. So this is the kitchen. This is the dining room. This was actually a green color, and so I painted it this Dover white by Sherwin-Williams, so it's just all one color. There used to be a china hutch here on this wall. We got rid of that, and then there are extra chairs. There are 2 leaves and extra chairs. Those are in the garage, so that this room just looks really, neutral and spacious and ready for the next family. This is hallway pantry, nothing glorious, just nothing special. But my previous home was built in 1912, and the kitchen was just like a big box with no storage whatsoever. So it was a big deal when we moved in here and had so much storage. This is the first floor powder room. Nothing splendiferous. It's not going to blow anyone away, but this is the laundry room. We repainted this, my son and I, a couple years ago, put in a new light fixture, painted the cabinets gray. I know the whole world is gray. And then we built this like laundry folding top, just with some plywood, and then 1x2. And this is actually on cleats, so you can lift it off and take it out. Before that you could just see the space behind the appliances in the wall, and so this just gives like visual calm. We took the bifold doors off and kind of converted this closet into like a mudroom kind of. So all this LVP, this was square tiles before, and then this was hardwood, a different kind of hardwood that ran this way, and then the floor in here was a darker LVP that ran this way, the way you see it, but then the original hardwood that came with this house in the 80s was running this way, so they were parallel to each other. So here's the living room. We always stripe it up, vacuum it up, so that we can see where those who've gone through the house have walked. We have 3 cats. This is Lucky, our bow tie kitty. Sweet boy. Sweet boy. So this is the living room. Nothing. It's a very modest home. There used to be an upright piano here. We got rid of that. This is Leo, who's our all black Halloween kitty. This is a working wood burning fireplace, and we have had many a fire here in the 10 years we've been here. Absolutely love the crackle. And the neighbors tell me when they walk by that they love the smell. It's kind of a lot of work, like scooping out all the ashes, and we get wood delivered, but it is nice to have a fireplace. So this used to be full of games, DVDs and music in here, games here, and this whole wall used to be full of books. So there used to be bookshelves and my, part of my library of books. And when we decided to have it painted, we just decided to cover the nail holes and leave the space fresh for the next family so they can do what they want. And then from here we go into the sunroom, which is one of my favorite spaces. These chairs have been through it. There have been a lot of snacks and drinks dribbled on these chairs. So again, this used to be full of books. I pared back as you do when you're staging a house. My undergrad is in literature, so I do tend to buy a lot of books. I jump around and I don't necessarily finish them straight through, but if you guys ever want to know what I'm reading, I'm happy to talk about that. One of the books that I'm currently reading is The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. I'm also in the middle of Lovely One, and I'm also in the middle of The Davenports More Than This. So the sunroom is absolutely amazing in the spring and fall. Here in the summer, you have to pick your time of day because it can get really, really warm in here. But there's a nice ceiling fan, and it's a great place to kick your feet up and watch a show and sip on something delightful. And then from here, we come out onto the patio. I have no idea how big this is, but you can tell it's not a huge deck, but you can seat a few people. And I think there's another umbrella that we put up here, but we didn't manage to put that out this season. And obviously here's the pool, and I just love looking at water. Maybe it's being a Michigander. Just looking at water is like, I need to see water every day. And so down here is the table, like the outdoor dining table. There's a cooler for drinks over here when we're entertaining, and then some more seating, some weeds in the cracks. And then over here is a Blackstone. We've had a couple different grills. We always buy them used, so we use them, and then when they fall apart, go find another one. And these are my petunias. A little bit of a struggle bus there. And there's some petunias and lavender. This was a stone planter that was here when we got here. And then this planter and the other one are literally like, I don't know, $5 or $10. I filled the bottoms up with like rocks and like packaging material and old pool noodles to just take up some space. So they aren't expensive. I don't know exactly how deep the pool is. I think it has to be 9 feet in order to have a diving board. So I think the deep end is 9 or 10 feet. And then a couple years ago when it was the summer before my son was getting ready to graduate, I splurged and for me got some nicer furniture. We used to just have like Adirondack chairs out here. And then I got these large storage units, which have been really helpful for storing the pillows and things like that. I have 2 of them. The other one's over here. And when I'm entertaining, I put a tablecloth on this, and obviously a tablecloth here. And then this serves as like a buffet, and it actually works really well. And it's just great for storing floaties and other things, and then this is more storage here too. And I'll walk you around the yard. This is their backyard. We don't water back here generally, and usually it actually stays pretty green, but not so much this year. This summer's been hot. I'm not gonna walk all the way around there, but there's some nice landscaping, nice-ish shed. So there was a smaller shed that came here with the house. We moved that to the far side of the pool and then put in this larger one, and we still have stuff that doesn't fit, so I guess you always need a larger shed. And this is the side of the garage here, and the garage is absolutely packed. Normally I park in the garage, but with us moving, there's just not enough space to do that right now. So here's the front. There's an attic up there with a crusty window, and then here are my this is a really, like, mid-June. This clematis and the daylilies are absolutely amazing. And then these are my beloved flower boxes. I think at one point I had them named. Like, one was Zora Hurston, Toni Morrison. I think I had named them all. Maya Angelou. You get the idea. Like, absolutely amazing African American writers. But yeah, this is the house. You know, it's a modest middle class house. It's not the Taj, but like I said, if you had ever seen, like, where I grew up, my dad was a poor academic, so, you know, my folks never had money. They were in ministry, and so never had any money. So for me, it was a big deal to be able to buy this place. So we'll go upstairs. This is the family bathroom, main bathroom, my son's bathroom. You can imagine that as this is the cleanest this bathroom has been. He has to keep it staged. He's pretty messy otherwise. This is my office / craft room. So I told you that I make junk journals, and here's an example. My page is called Cozy Time, and I guess I can link that in the description. As you might imagine, this has all been cleared out. I mean, this was all full of supplies and artwork. This whole room was just chock full of books and artwork, and you know, my son and I really both enjoyed this room, and often I'd be working here at my very humble desk, and he would come and plop down, and we'd just kind of chit chat at the end of the day about how things went. I'll spare you his room. This is the spare bedroom, and just, you know, very humble, but, you know, my sister lived with us. My youngest sister lived with us for a while, and so it was nice just to have a room for her to stay, place for her to stay during COVID. And then my room is here. This house was built in the late 80s, and I think the ideas was like his and her closets. and the closets are small. You know, again, my room is not, it's not the Taj, y'all. It's a very humble home. And then check out my ensuite. Now, it's a big deal to have an ensuite. Don't get me wrong. I shared a bathroom with my son in our first home, and having my own bathroom was amazing. But this thing is tiny. And, you know, it's just got like a really simple shower. Just a really, you know, simple, small shower. So it is the ensuite of no one's dreams. And then, you know, every morning I always just kind of instinctively like look out the window. It's just the thing I do. And in my last video I talked about there's no one to see at the next house. It is absolutely secluded, and no one can see us and we can't see anyone. Very, very different from being able to look out too and like just like see kids. No one's out today. The air quality is really bad here with the Canadian wildfires. The air quality is terrible. But typically there's kids riding their bikes, teenagers on scooters, older people walking, young families, you know, pushing strollers. So to go from that to no sidewalk and no view of the sidewalk if we had one, is kind of a big deal for me. And then I'll show you the basement really quickly. So the basement used to be my son's like hangout space in middle school and high school. You can just imagine there was a flat screen there, and there was a couch here and an easy chair here. So we've cleared a lot of that out, but this was like where he lived. He spent a lot of time down here. This fireplace was converted to gas. There used to be a dartboard here and a foosball table, and back here is just a lot of storage. We have had the kitties' food and water upstairs typically, but we moved it down while we're showing. And in the way back there, it's like all our boxes, everything that we've boxed up so far. And then this last room is just like what I'd call like our mechanical room, water heater, furnace, and then some additional storage. You know, nothing incredible. I'm gonna feed the kitties. It's time for their evening meal, and they're absolutely so yeah. Like I said, in the context of modest middle class homes, you know, I think it's a nice house.